Plus, sneak peeks at what's coming next. With so much going on in the world of daytime, it's easy to miss a story or two, including some of the biggest ones unfolding on screen. Fortunately, we've got you covered with our guide to everything that went down last week on Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, The Bold and the Beautiful and the Young and the Restless. Plus, we've got previews of what to expect next and even coverage of Primetime's best sudsers. Related Story Young Restless Nikki signs up Melody Thomas Scott for a game she can't possibly lose. The Bold and the Beautiful, we hate to say it, but it sure seems like Hope and Liam's marriage is pretty much heading down the tubes. The only real question is whose arms he'll end up in. Will it be an ex-lover, or a completely new one? Can it be true? Is Bold Beautiful setting us up for the most surprising, and delightful, resolution to the Brooke-Ridge-Taylor triangle ever? What the? See Thomas and Brooke doing something together that they haven't in years. And no, it's not what you're thinking, yet. Halloween was more treat than trick when Don Diamont, Bill, shared the delightful details of a surprise reunion decades in the making. The fashion shows are back. Celebrate the occasion with a mini photo gallery of this week's glorious Hope for the Future show. The Hope for the Future fashion show took center stage this week, and Richard writes that the backstage drama left the audience very divided in their loyalties. Plus, this week's column asks where two important characters were and explains why they definitely should have been on hand. What went down last week? Sheila looked back on her past as Lauren Fenmore paid a Halloween visit to Eric. The much-anticipated Hope for the Future preview got underway, with Liam spying Thomas and Hope in an embrace before the show, which left him unable to stay and support his wife. After the line proved to be a roaring success, Thomas and Hope took their bows together as Douglas proudly looked on. Afterward, Hope celebrated with Thomas at the Forrester Mansion, where Ridge, Eric and Zende branded them the next dream team. At the cabin, Brooke grilled Liam about missing the show before heading home with Bill, who made a play for the blonde he just can't get over. Days of Our Lives love in the afternoon? Not necessarily. We grade the show's pairings with a romance report card. But will Days of Our Lives pass, or fail? Plus, check out our newly expanded and freshly updated couples gallery. The good news is romance isn't completely dead. The bad news, though, is that it may take a devastating tragedy to give us a new, completely unexpected couple. If Paulina's blackmailer is who we think it is, there's about to be a whole lot of ticked-off fans out there. Oops, it looks like we messed up. Luckily, Paul Telfer, Xander, had our backs. It's been over 4 decades since the DeMaras wormed their way into Salem, and it all began with one man, Tony. Or was it Andre? No, it was definitely Tony. Either way, celebrate the Al Pinglis debut anniversary with a photo-filled look back at the man who changed Salem forever. Though Curtis still feels like we're on hold until November Sweeps kicks in this week's column, he's pretty sure he finally got a handle on where the show's headed, and it could end up being even more explosive than he originally thought. Now if only Days of Our Lives could give us some exciting couples. What went down last week? Alex stole the blackmail file from an unsuspecting Sloane and gave it to Stephanie, which saved her job with Paulina. Alex then headed up a steamy photo shoot starring Eric and Nicole. After being disrespected by Victor, a broke Xander moved himself and Sarah into a seedy motel. To make money, he kidnapped Susan in exchange for a portion of the ransom Ava planned to extort from EJ. This was after Ava's dead son Charlie appeared to encourage her bad behavior. Kristen forced Lee to hire Chloe away from Basic Black, which led to Stefan and Chloe sharing a kiss. On Wendy's first day at DeMara, she and Johnny discovered Lee might have hired the same pilot to whisk Rolf away that Kristen used for her own kidnappings. General Hospital fans waited 25 years to see Elizabeth confront her parents, and the scenes were well worth the wait. Unfortunately, in the same episode, viewers were less than thrilled by two particular Liz-related incidents. Here's what got them ticked. In a shocking move, General Hospital dropped a long-awaited character as quickly as it had introduced her. As Holly settles into Port Charles and seemingly does the unthinkable, Emma Samms has a special request for the fans. We tackle a mother-daughter celebration as only soaps.com can, with a pair of photo galleries. One looks back at Carly's exploits on the anniversary of Laura Wright's first episode, the other tackles Jocelyn's wild life as we look back at her own dramatic debut. Nancy Lee Grahn has not only planned out who Alexis should end up with, but also how General Hospital should end. Wait, what? Dustin had a special award in this week's column for the worst parents in the world, and 2 guesses as to whose mom and dad got that one. Overall, though, he was pleasantly surprised that Liz's story ended up making more sense than he'd thought it would. Plus, he enjoyed the surprise of seeing Laura again, coming to Valentine's rescue, no less. What went down last week, in Switzerland, Laura and Kevin came to Valentine and Charlotte's rescue. Out in California, Liz was stunned to learn that as a teen, she confronted Finn's wife Reiko for having an affair with her father Jeff, leading to Reiko tumbling down the stairs. Jeff and Liz erased Liz's memory of the event and sent her away so their presence wouldn't trigger its return. Back in Port Charles, Alexis received a letter from the Hook killer detailing that the targets weren't random, but people who wronged her. Jordan warned Joss and Trina of her theory that Joss was the intended second victim, and that the killings are all connected to Trina's trial somehow. The girls were convinced it was Esme, who had returned. Finally, Holly was revealed as being blackmailed by Victor to betray her friends and feed him information on Anna and Robert, as he is holding a man important to her hostage. The Young and the Restless. It may be time for Victoria to be knocked down a peg or two, and we have a feeling Sally is just the woman for the job. After all, we hear she is looking for work right now. Even as Sharon Case shared a few bittersweet thoughts about the one that got away from her alter ego, she also admitted that there was one man from Sharon's past who she's dying to reconnect with. We weren't the only ones holding back tears last week, as Eric Braeden, Victor, marveled at how much his co-star moved him. Last week started with a tease from Michelle Stafford, Phyllis, that had us on the edge of our seats to learn who would be returning next, but by the time Friday rolled around, we got our answer. Michael Damian is bringing Danny back. Halloween may be over, but Alvia Allen Lynn's ex-Faith primetime horror hit Chucky is still going strong. In fact, it's going so well she's making how much? As a number of stories ramp up, Candace shares in this week's column that she was as blown away as the rest of us by Melissa Claire Egan's performance as a heartbreakingly suicidal Chelsea. A few other stories, though, are starting to wear thin for her, from Tucker's smarmy plotting to the dumbing down of the Abbotts to make Diane's tale plausible. What went down this week? Billy pulled Chelsea off the ledge when she attempted suicide and vowed to stand by her through her recovery, which didn't go over big with Lily. Nate accepted Victoria's job offer at Newman Media and was bewildered when Elena wasn't pleased. This left Sally boxing up her office and refereeing between Nick and Adam, who tried to blame his brother for the situation. Devin and Lily learned Nate had conspired with Victoria, which led to a heart-to-heart and fond remembrances of Neil. Meanwhile, Diane suffered the consequences of hiding a secret when Kyle declared he may never trust her again, and Phyllis went into meltdown mode when Jack still blamed her for the drama. Will Ashley's plan to lure Tucker for information work? She put it into motion, so we'll soon find out. In other news, it's a story that seems crazy enough for a soap, but on the anniversary of its cancellation, we take a look at how our beloved Search for Tomorrow got the axe twice. Nearly 30 years after NBC's hit Santa Barbara went off the air, we got news that one alum has been working to bring it back. Peacock got one heck of a boost just in time for the holidays as the Hallmark Channel programming heads to the streaming service. In a cautionary tale of how toxic fandom can grow, Heartstopper's Kit Connor was pushed to the breaking point and forced to respond to fans who hounded him over his sexuality. What's coming up? Now that you're all caught up on what went down last week, here's a glimpse of what's just around the corner. Eric and Nicole's feelings for each other may finally be reaching the boiling point this week on Days of Our Lives, but will Jada's inconveniently timed medical emergency put them on ice? Most of Genoa City has been looking for a way to get rid of Diane from pretty much the moment she reappeared, but this week, it looks like they may finally get some help from the most unlikely of allies, Tucker. Get to know the cast of Blue Bloods and meet the real-life partners that are cuffed to some of your favorite stars.